My name's Latrice, if you do not recognize my face. Nice to meet you. Let's jump right on in. Alrighty. So I caught the tail end of a Bible study tonight, and it was Pastor Dudley, Marcus Dudley, I think, of Change Church. He said something at the end. He said, as an athlete, I believe he played football, he said at the end they had pads on, and he didn't realize how hurt he was until he took the pads off. He began to explain, we don't know how hurt we are. A lot of times we walk around with all these pads on, all this protection we have, and we don't realize how bad the wound is, how much we're hurting until we take those pads off. Why am I saying this? Yesterday, I was reading back in my journal, right? I'm doing that right now specifically for a project, but I'm reading back in my journal, and I was reading all the things. I was like, oh my God, from last year. I was like, wow, is this what I was feeling? This is tough. This is heavy, la la la. That was early afternoon. By the time evening came and I was going to go run some errands, I was like so maybe overstimulated. I had all the emotions. I had all of this right here. And I didn't understand what was happening. I just knew I felt yucky. I felt sad. All the things combined into one big blob ball. And so I'm driving. I try to go to the store. Next thing I know, before I get out the car, I'm crying. I'm like, I don't understand what's going on right now. I'm thinking and speaking out loud to myself about a bunch of things that are bothering me, related to what I was reading in my journal, but I didn't connect the two at the time. And I was like, at the end of the night, I was like, wow, that very much impacted me. It impressed upon me something. It opened up old wounds. And I didn't realize how much it was still hurting me until I opened up the wounds, until I removed the padding of this everyday, currently smile, laugh, day-to-day work thing, bury all of that under. But those wounds, it still hurt when you take pads off. And if we keep those pads on all year long, years, right? It will begin to hinder us in the places we need to go. I once heard somebody describe the definition of style as being knowing what to put on and where. Knowing the right thing to put on to go to the right event or whatever. That's style, knowing what to put on, how to put it on, and where you're going to put it on. If we have pads on, there will be places that those pads won't fit. See if I can say it better. They'll hinder you, right? Say if you got all these pads on, like you're a football player, you got all these pads everywhere, and you try to put a nice little vest on top of it. It's not going to look right, number one. It's not going to fit right, number two. It's going to look out of place with the pads and the vest and all the accessories, because what is that? Our emotional outbursts or effects or whatever that comes out. We will try to go into certain rooms, certain relationships, certain seasons in our lives, and it'll be out of place. We will be out of place. Things will not line up right because we haven't taken the pads off to take care of the wounds underneath. Does that make sense? I hope I'm making sense. My advice to you and myself, let's take the pads off, ladies and gentlemen, so we can tend to those wounds. My God, whatever that looks like for you, I hope you do it. Si nadie te ha dicho hoy, ese día que te estoy hablando a ti mismo, yo te quiero decir a ti que te amo. Yo te quiero decir a ti, a tu cara, aquí estamos, aquí, mira. I want to tell you that I love you so much. And I love me too, because listen, life be lifing out here. But guess what? We are going to prosper regardless. Catch you on the flip side. Bye.